Okay, well, good morning, everybody. I'm going to set up my slide real fast. You all can see it. I need to see my part. If you have any questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A or the chat, whether Angela and Kim are going to monitor those, both of those for me, so I can focus on presenting. At the end, I'll have time for Q&A. I did the same presentation. I shrunk it down just a bit for the CPA Academy in December, right after we got back from QuickBooks Connect. And so there's a little bit of it I don't need to present to you guys, so it's shrunk down a bit, but it may go over. I'll try my best to keep it in the 30 minutes, but feel free to ask questions as I go. I've got competent people backing me up, Kim and Angela. So let's get started. The biggest thing that we took away from when we were at QuickBooks Connect that I'm really excited about is to announce that desktop is not dead. We were told that they are now investing money into the desktop world that was not previously being done. As you all heard, QBO was like the big thing. But what's so exciting about it is now that we have options. So QBO is a great fit for certain customers, and desktop, as we know, a lot of us still are hanging on to it. So it's not going anywhere. You're in good shape, but some of you that are on the call might have gone on to the QBO bandwagon, and I kind of want to bring you so you can see what all the options are. So that's where we're going. And anyway, and I'm Carrie Kahn. I'm the one that runs this partner program, and all of you that are invited on here probably already know me, or you should, but I wanted to make sure you do know who my team members are. Two of them are on the call. Kim and Angela are on the call. Kim is our secret sauce at our direct connection to Intuit. So whenever we have anything we need, that's who I secretly go to. Paula, you all probably have spoken to if you ever have any orders or product questions. She's your first line to talk to. You can also talk to me. And Jessica helps us do all the partner payments and so forth. And then Angela helps us with those wonderful landing pages and resource center access and stuff like that. So we're all work as a team to try to help you to succeed. And again, I'll repeat, if you have any questions, drop them in the Q&A or even the chat. They're both going to be monitoring those. And at the end, I'll find out if there's anything that we need to share with the group. So today we're just going to kind of go over the QBO versus desktop, and so that you'll know which clients are the right fit for them. And many of you are already pro advisors, so I totally recommend being a pro advisor. And because of this new information, I recommend that you're at least a deluxe QuickBooks Pro Advisor. And if you sign up through our partner program, the cool thing is there's a tiny commission, but hey, it's a commission. And so you can get signed up for that and earn a commission. The deluxe version gets you QuickBooks Premier Accountant Edition, one user, and the Premier Edition gives you that plus Enterprise, which I highly recommend becoming well-versed in Enterprise, and I'm going to explain why as we go. We're going to go over the differences between the two versions, the two main they're two totally different worlds, QBO and desktop. I'm going to talk about what to do when your file size is too large. We're going to determine when Enterprise is a better fit than QuickBooks Pro and Premier. I'm going to go over migration and what you need to know about it, and then we'll recognize our partner program benefits and savings. So the bandwagon, as you all know, QuickBooks Intuit has been really promoting QBO, but as some of you might not realize, desktop has always been there. It's just now going to be more in the forefront. So there was a clue after QuickBooks Connect. They were the accountant group was advertising that QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise is 20% off for the life of the subscription. Well, because you're a partner, we get the same pricing as QuickBooks as the accountant division through the ProAdvisor program, but we earn commission, which is fantastic. So Enterprise has wonderful commissions, and then if you have a new client that's new to Enterprise and they bundle in hosting, it's fantastic commission. So it's totally, definitely worth looking at. But what was really cool, that screenshot I have right there, I found that on Facebook. And when I saw that, I realized, wow, that it really is happening. This is basically the message is one size does not fit all your clients. I love that. That's exactly how I've been feeling. And so now it's nice to see the accountant division is behind that. So, and the 10 years they've said they're going to be reallocating resources towards the desktop, making it better and fixing some of the things that we're all asking for. They're going to continue to invest in QBO. That's not going anywhere, and they're trying to move globally, and that's fine. But remember, one size does not fit all your clients. So over the next year, we'll probably see some marketing changes, but this gives you more tools in your tool belt. So when you compare QBO versus desktop, it seems on the surface that it's cheaper, but it's not always cheaper. I mean, QBO, when you go into the Plus version, can be as high as $600 a year. And when you buy QuickBooks Pro Desktop, it's under $200. It's really $184. QuickBooks Online only gives you one subscription per company. And as you've probably seen in our Facebook group, we have a lot of times people struggling with that. Desktop, you can have as many company files as you need to open up within your program. So that's a big difference. Sometimes you have a client that has, rental property or something, they're running other company files, and it actually is more economical for them to be in desktop, whichever version, so that they can open up different company files. Desktop, right out of the box, gives you sales orders. It does inventory and job costing much, much better than QuickBooks Online. And QuickBooks Enterprise is ready for growth, and the Platinum Edition is getting a nice makeover. So for people, all versions of desktop do inventory, but the Platinum Edition takes inventory to one extra step for those clients that need a little bit more, like location or serial number or lot tracking. The other thing I wanted to point out is that QBO, the price of QBO can be driven higher because QBO requires add-on products. And so you have that subscription and then extra subscriptions to add the bandwidth to your QBO. Because, for example, you can't really do inventory very well on it like you can in desktop, so you may have to put another add-on program. Then who's skilled to do these add-ons? That's where we find we have problems finding the provisors that are skilled in these add-ons, and we want our client to have the best end result. So I want to go over real quick about online versus hosting. The major appeal of QBO is that it's at anytime, anywhere access. That's great for people that have good internet. What if you don't have good internet? Some people still don't. So desktop might be fine. But those that do have good internet and love the desktop features can get the best of both worlds by using a hosting solution. When we sell it to a brand new client, we use the right networks, bundled hosting with our QuickBooks Enterprise. We totally agree that Right Networks is a good solution. Another one that we also like to use is Skyline. We use that one internally. So those are two good options to take a good look at. There's other ones out there. Those are the two that we are most familiar with. But with both options, what's really nice is you can use the Mac, and which is what I'm actually talking to you on right now. I love the Mac. It's doesn't have you don't have the problems with bugs and viruses like you can with PCs. So I find it's a whole lot better. But the but is you have to have strong internet. And if you run across a client that has a Mac, a lot of times they'll come to us and purchase QuickBooks and they don't even realize it doesn't work on the Mac. So this is a solution where they don't have to go out and buy more more hardware, and they can stay in that software and just literally put that license up in the cloud and continue to work. So to compare QuickBooks Online and Desktop a little bit deeper, I just want to go over the file limitations. So QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop Pro, and Premier are limited in size, okay? So they're designed for new, small companies. My rule of thumb is that when you're dealing with the desktop, you can hit F2 while you're in the data file, and you can see what the data file size is. And so my rule of thumb is 100,000 K. It can handle Pro and Premier on the same limitation, and it can handle a file size up to 100,000 K. Enterprise can take that 10 times the list size, 10 times the data size, and it's really designed for growing small business. The QuickBooks Online, there's 3 different flavors with QuickBooks Online, and to get to the end of it real fast, QuickBooks Online Plus is the closest thing that we have to QuickBooks Desktop Pro, which is our bottom level. So that's a little bit, although it lets you do up to 5 users, is a little bit different, but as far as the features go, that's the closest thing we can get to. But it does not do inventory as well as your QuickBooks Desktop Pro. So when you go back to the bottom, if you have somebody that's super simple and they just need 1 user and they're really just keeping up with their bank recs and they're trying to do invoicing, Simple Start is fine. If they need to track their bills, then they need to go up to the level of Essentials. And that also adds in the sales tax feature, which is not in Simple Start. And QuickBooks Plus, QuickBooks Online Plus, lets you do up to 5 users, estimates, inventory, but it's light inventory. It's not to the level that we can do in desktop. It lets you do purchase orders, class tracking, location tracking, and 1099s. All of the versions of QuickBooks Online allow you to add in, all of our integrated things, our payroll and integrated payments. But I just wanted to point out that the QuickBooks Online Plus is about as close as you can get to desktop. It does allow 5 users. Oop. All right, now I want to quickly go over the different versions of Pro and Premier. And I do want to point out, I have all of these resources on our website, and then we'll have this recording available for you to go through again. I know it's a lot to digest, but we have fabulous resource center and website with all this great information. QuickBooks Pro, Premier versus Enterprise. Pro and Premier, remember, as I told you about the file size, they're limited to the same file and list size. QuickBooks Pro maxes out at 3 simultaneous users, okay? You can create as many logins as you need, which I highly recommend. You have a login, your client has a login, your bookkeeper has a login, so you know who does what. But as far as opening the data file, you can't have more than 3 people opening up and accessing that data file at the same time in QuickBooks Pro. In QuickBooks Premier, you can have up to 5 users. What's really nice is that Pro has job costing with the labor burden. So you can do job costing in online, but not to the level that you can in desktop. So what that means is when you're running your payroll, you can assign a job to it and see the cost of your payroll within your reporting in the desktop version. That cannot be done in online at this time. They're working towards it, and we're hoping that that T-Sheets acquisition helps that, but right now it's not possible. So we always recommend, if you have a client that needs job costing, which many, many do, stay in the desktop flavor. I also want to point out a big difference between Pro and Premier. Pro and Premier is that Premier also has industry-specific reporting. So, and all that is canned reports, but they have a construction version, a retail version, and so forth. So it's just some canned reports, which are nice. And you just purchase Premier. And when you purchase it and you open it up, it'll say, what industry are you? And then you get those canned reports. QuickBooks Premier also adds in as inventory assembly, but the big thing that's more important than anything is it does really nice sales order tracking. So that's where Premier is better. But keep in mind, it's limited in list size and it's limited in file size when you start to have the slowdown. Enterprise allows you to purchase, and it wasn't always this way, but you can, it's a subscription-based model, but you can get a 1 user up to 30 users. It has, this is my favorite part, is the security levels. So where Pro and Premier only give you 8 security levels that are preset, and QuickBooks Online gives you 4, Enterprise gives you 200 customizable access options. So you can get down and dirty with what you want your employees to see. You can set up and play with it and customize it, keep them out of certain bank accounts, keep them out of the payroll and so forth, but not a broad role like the other programs have. You can get more nitty gritty with the levels of what they can see. This is something that many, many people don't understand or realize, is that it's a super easy upgrade from Pro and Premier. Those screens that you're used to seeing in desktop for Pro and Premier are the same screens in Enterprise. So you can you migrate the data file up and you feel comfortable because you already know these screens. There's just more bells and whistles that are opened up as you get into the Enterprise levels that are in there. But what you're used to, your day in and day out, you'll feel very familiar with it, and you can get up to speed pretty fast. And I do recommend doing the certification in enterprise, because that can make you feel a little more comfortable. But it's very, very comfortable when you see what it looks like. Now, support, let's go over that. Support for Pro and Premier, the customer has to pay for it, and it's overseas support. Pro and Premier, you can purchase the old-fashioned download desktop, or you can purchase the same thing with a subscription, so you're always in the latest version as enterprise. That comes with your overseas support. Enterprise gives you US-based support, and right now they are located in Florida and Virginia. And I've actually gone on site, really nice, smart people. So you're getting enterprise level support. If you've ever had the frustration of the overseas, you'll be more comfortable when you get support for the enterprise channel. So I want to summarize what I just said about, it's a lot. I know I'm giving you a fire hose of information of QuickBooks Online versus desktop. The online, the max level you can get is up to 5 users maximized in the same file, but there's only 4 user access options. So when people are real picky about, I don't want so-and-so to see something, I would just go straight to desktop enterprise and show them how great that works. QuickBooks Online, you can get the bills and the accounts payable, but you have to go to the higher levels to get that. The sales tax, you have to go to the higher levels. Estimates, you have to go to the highest level. Inventory is very different from desktop. Class tracking is only in the highest level. And the biggest takeaway is it's only one company file. So that can drive up your cost if your client has more than one company. So all those same features that I just mentioned are available in desktop, but enterprise allows you to get as high as 30 users. You have 200 customizable user roles, so you can limit what they see. The job labor costing is in there, so job costing is taken to another level. The sales order tracking is available in Premier and Enterprise. What's really cool about Enterprise is if you have a client that has several different subsidiaries, you can create different company files for them, and then you can do multiple company file reporting, which is really, really cool. And I often forget that that feature's in there. So if a client wants to run separate books for their different subsidiaries and have one report for the whole company, the whole broad company, they can do that in Enterprise. And again, Enterprise can take 10 times the file and list size as Online, Pro, and Premier. So it's really meant, and don't be scared of the word enterprise. Enterprise, I wish it was a different word, but it's not up to me. But put in your mind it is for growing small business. It's not meant for these huge, ginormous corporations like GE or so forth. It's meant for small businesses with up to maybe 100, 150 employees. Not over the top, ginormous companies, but small businesses. And the best part, my favorite part, is that you can have multiple company files. So it's really easier for people to use the program and not spend a whole lot of money. And when would you choose desktop over QBO? And this is, I'm repeating myself, but just to make sure you understand, when you need to track job costing down to the labor, you want to choose desktop. If you need sales orders, you need at least Premier or Enterprise if you need sales order tracking. And if you're tracking any kind of inventory, I highly recommend desktop. Any flavor of desktop, you can do inventory. If you need advanced inventory, then you need the Enterprise Platinum Edition. And just to keep in mind, it is better if you need serial tracking, serial number tracking, lot tracking, or location tracking. And if you need to learn any of the differences, please go to our website or even our partner website to learn more about that. Migrating from desktop to online is not always the best answer because payroll does not transfer smoothly to QuickBooks Online. And then you're taking a step back if you need that job labor costing. You have to make sure your inventory is cleaned up. And again, if you have a client with inventory, I would not make the move. I just wouldn't do it. It may in time, QuickBooks Online may in time get better, but right now we recommend our clients that have inventory tracking to stay in desktop. They won't be happy. They'll feel like they're taking a step backwards. The sales tax groups don't transfer over and they're lumped together, so you have kind of a mess on the other side. If your file is huge, then you have to do a period copy, and I'll get into that. I don't recommend that either. I mean, basically, if your file is huge, you should be an enterprise. And if you're going to QBO, you're really taking a step back to a program that is not designed for that file growth of 10 times the limit. And expect to do a lot of cleanup as you're setting it up. So I also want to talk about, a lot of you have, if you've been supporting desktop, you've had clients who jokingly call QuickBooks slow books, and I don't like that, but it happens. There are solutions to it. So when you have a client that has, their data file has gotten too large, then there's different ways that we tell you what to do. So the options of handling a growing file, QBO right now, there is no clear path to shrinking a data file. So they suggest you delete. And I'm a CPA, and that drives me crazy. If you're deleting stuff, one transaction that's linked to something else, you just don't know what the overall effect is going to be. So that there's no clear path at this point. I don't have an answer for that. QuickBooks Pro and Premier, when the file gets really slow, you can easily migrate to Enterprise and see a huge difference. Enterprise is literally designed to hold 10 times the amount of data, so it's a nice, smooth transition. But sometimes the data file can even be too large for Enterprise, and you need to, because even when you move it to Enterprise, even though the file size in that, my rule of thumb is it can go up to 1 million, sometimes, for some reason, it might be half of that size and it's moving really slow. So what we recommend is that you use a third-party person, and we recommend QB or not QB, to safely shrink your data file. I know that inside, and some of you have probably done it and not had a problem, but I lean on Murph at Joe Woodard's group at Scaling New Heights, and they still tell us, even though the tool is in there to shrink a data file, they don't recommend doing it, because we have seen more often than not unanswered, why is this data file acting like this, or we're finding data file corruption. So do not use that tool that's so beautifully built in the file. We recommend that you go over to a third party. Matt Clark is just one of the ones that we work with. We really love working with him. He can take your data file and shrink it to a normal size. And so what that means is the client maintains and retains the original large file, and then he takes that file and creates a brand new file for you with like the last year or two in it. And then the speed is so much better. So they have one that they can look up the history, and then they have the new speedy one in the ready to use live. So I want to repeat, so many pro advisors and CPAs and accountants bookkeepers are so afraid of Enterprise because the word itself makes it sound like a large software program that we've not heard of, but it is just what you're used to. If you're comfortable in QuickBooks Pro and Premier, you will feel right at home. It's an easy migration. The menus are similar. It's really meant for growing small businesses. I also want to mention this. If the engagement is too large for you, this is why I built the partner program. We have partners that you can collaborate with, sub out. We have solutions where you can reach out to us, and we'll try to connect you up with the group or a team that can help you with the setup. If it's way too big and you're just bogged down, we can work with you and try to find you somebody to help you give the client the best service, and then you can actually still earn the commission on that product and work out something with that partner. But we do have access to resources to help you with that. So don't be overwhelmed if the engagement is too large, but don't wait to let us know. We need to help you get somebody that has bandwidth to help you out. So I wanted to remind everybody that with QuickBooks Enterprise, we have lifetime discounts, and they are 20% off of MSRP for life. When you bring us a new client, we can sign them up. When it's 30 users, the discount is still lifetime. It's 12.5%. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. But we can do these lifetime discounts. There's fantastic commission for you. We split everything 50-50, but the Enterprise has fantastic commission. I also wanted to mention, if you decide to put your client, if they're a good fit for QuickBooks Online, wholesale billing is not the only option. If you bring in, this is what I always recommend. If you have the model where you're comfortable with billing your client and you pay that bill and that makes you happy, that's fine. But if you have a new client that you just don't know, and you don't know if you're going to have them forever, and you're not sure you want to get on the hook for that, what we can do is we can sell through our channel, we can sell QuickBooks Online. The only problem is that our discount is 50% MSRP for just 1 year. But what's nice about it is the billing is in the client's. You can put the billing in the client's name under the client. So that's another option. And when you do it through our channel, you can earn a commission. So I just wanted to mention that. You may have where 90% of your clients are a perfect fit for wholesale billing, but you have a couple that you're onboarding and you're not sure if you're going to keep them for life, and you want to, you'll probably ultimately throw them at direct. Well, you might as well set them up through our channel and earn a commission and then see how they work out. We do also, the CBG is also rolled in with the ProAdvisor pricing. We have lifetime discount for QuickBooks Assisted Payroll. This is brand new from the summer, 20% off for life off of MSRP, which is a nice win. That, as a CBG partner, earns you an ongoing residual. So you can make sure your clients are in compliance with their payroll. It's built into desktop, and they can, and then you earn a little residual, and their taxes are being paid and so forth. I also wanted to point out our QuickBooks payments. All of our rates except point of sale are the same. They're either the same as MSRP, meaning into its price if you click in product, or they're lower. So if your client clicks in product for Pro or Premier or online or desktop, they will get higher rates by clicking in product. If you slow them down and sign up under us, they will have lower than MSRP rates. So try to capture that sale before they click in product. And then everything we do 50-50 commission on all of our stuff, all the products and so forth. And I do want to mention, I don't have on here, is that QuickBooks Pro and Premier is now available in a subscription, and there is a commission on that. So I wanted to mention that. So what I would say your next steps are, if you're not already comfortable with Enterprise, I would join the ProAdvisor program, the highest level, and take that certification. It's fantastic. I would also recommend that you go over your current clients and see what they have. If they're in Pro and Premier, hit F2 and see what their data file size. If you hear them complaining about it being slow, move them up to Enterprise and so forth. And now is time for questions. So Kim and Angela, are there any questions so far that I could review?
There was one question. Somebody had a 2012 client and they wanted to know how they could get them to move or upgrade. I talked about connected services and also checking files. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add.
You definitely move them up. The pricing has changed so much. If you have a person that's been on Enterprise for a while, what they might not realize is it used to only be in 3 choices, 5, 10, and 30 users. You may find that your client only needs 3 users or whatever. So be sure to find out exactly, explain to them how users work. You can have 10, 30, 50 user logins, but it's the number of people opening the data file at the same time. So that can save them money. And then if they have enhanced payroll, which a 2012 probably wouldn't, but anybody that has enhanced payroll, this is a huge thing, and I've got blogs on this. There are no extra fees. So if your client's on Pro or Premier and they're on enhanced payroll, and some even are still in Enterprise paying separate for enhanced payroll, they're paying, in the current rate, this is very confusing, but the current rate, they're paying about $2 per employee per month. Those fees are no longer, you do not have those fees in Gold. So oftentimes you'll hear us recommend, oh, take a look at QuickBooks Enterprise Gold, and that's why, because they're not having these ongoing fees. And in the long run, they'll save money. So we always challenge you to run a spreadsheet on what are they paying for one thing plus those extra fees, and see if we can save them money. And even if their data file isn't that big, they can usually save money if they have, I think it's like 20 or more employees, they definitely save money using the enhanced goal.
Yeah, that's a good point. This was actually a premier customer, Carrie. Sorry, I didn't mention that. But this is also a good analysis to use if you have QuickBooks Desktop customers that are purchasing QuickBooks every single year, purchasing enhanced payroll, and also purchasing Intuit Data Protect.
Yes.
Those customers you also want to look over because they would be a great fit for enterprise as well.
Yes, because with enterprise, you get the online backup and you have the data protect. So if your data file crashes, guess who's first in line? The enterprise people. And the Premier and Pro people have to pay for that unless they're on that service. So they end up saving a lot of money. And if you ever have a client and you're unsure of what they have and they probably don't know, if you can get their license number, if you can give us some time, we can work with Kim and she can look in the background and pull and see exactly what they have on file. And I can't tell you how many times we have discovered that somebody's paying for support that's not needed. Because once we move them over, and sometimes it's crazy. They've got all this, they're panicked and they're signing up for stuff they don't know. We can take a look at what they have and let you look like a hero and bring you back a report. Is there anything else?
No, those are the only questions we have. Okay,
well, I'm going to put in our Facebook group, I'll put some more blogs that are really helpful. When I did the CPA Academy class, I gave them about 3 blogs that make you really understand enterprise and how it's a great fit. And then there's some other blogs that tie back to this, to our program. So with that, I will, I guess we're right at the half hour. This is great. I ran through it really fast. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the Facebook group. That helps everybody else. Don't be shy. And I monitor that pretty good. Or reach out to Paula if you need to just talk to her one-on-one on, some of your clients. And if you have any, like I said, if you have any that you're thinking, oh, I bet I could save them some money, or let's see what they have and see if they have too many of these, they've signed up for too much, like we probably all have, we can take a look at that too. Just give them the feedback that we need a little bit of time to do the research, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So with that, I want to thank Angela and Kim for helping me with these questions and attending the call. And we will meet back next month. And in the meantime, see what you can find and be the hero for your client, and don't be afraid of enterprise. We are here to help you succeed with this. All right? So thanks again, and have a great day. Stay warm, dry, away from fire, all that stuff.
Bye, Carrie. Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.